All right. Shalom, family. Hope you're all doing well. We got our blizzard here going, and man, the wind is really kicking up. You can hear it, and yeah, and the thing is, we just saw the sidewalk, the grass and sidewalk again. Now it's back covered with snow. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is the Congressional Black Caucus, or some people call it the Congressional Immigrant Caucus, because they focus on immigration a lot more than people in our community. In fact, they outright ignore us. And we know why. They were hoping that one day in this country, the immigrants could replace us and they won't have to deal with us anymore. We would be irrelevant. But that's not working out the way they planned, because it doesn't help if you got one president in and he's letting everybody in the country, and then an election happens, another president comes in and he shuts it all down. So, at that pace, yeah, you're not going anywhere with it. So we know they never address our issues. They don't talk about reparations unless they're screaming for us to stop talking about reparations. And the George Floyd Policing Act, they tried to pretend like they were going to get that through. Everything for us is it can't be done, it can't be done. But for anyone else, especially immigrants, everything can be done. Money can be found. Anything they need, it can be done. It's only when we open our mouths, it can't be done. Since Donald Trump took office, they don't address anybody. They stay completely silent, almost like they're scared. And when they do come together to speak, it's always about immigration. It's always about immigration. And it's never about us. I don't even know at this point why they even call themselves Congressional Black Caucus, because they never pay attention to us. Maybe you need to change that to CIC, Congressional Immigrant Caucus, because that's the only thing you love talking about. And I don't agree with all those foreigners up in there. That's why our issues don't get looked at, but they feel very comfortable talking about being in a congressional seat and their Jamaican community or their Haitian community or this community and that community. You know, they weren't born here and they shouldn't be there. That's how I see it. Mm-mm-mm. They don't focus on our issues, then we don't need to have them part of the Congressional Black Caucus. At this point, do I think it can be fixed? No, no, I know I don't. And as far as what they do for us, the damage is done. They don't do nothing. And it's a lot of people that are not happy with them. And if anything, they don't want any ties with them. Yeah, so I don't rely on politicians because they will always let you down. Mhm. They will always let you down. So we know when the topic of reparations come up, they're against reparations. They've already came public when we were really talking about it over the years, saying they're not for reparations. They're not for getting rid of qualified immunity. In fact, they're not for anything when it comes down to us. But if you say the word immigrant, they got some money for you. They can help you with your housing. They can help you with food. They can get you some free health care. They can do everything under the sun. So, the way I see it, then get the immigrants to vote for you. What's the problem? next time midterms and other elections come up, get the immigrants to vote for you. That's all I got to say. Mm-mm-mm. All right, y'all. Let me share my screen. And I love how these young people are speaking up because they're seeing straight through these CBC members. They know and recognize y'all don't do anything for us. That's why y'all will never get a bunch of young people and have their support. You're not, because they can see right through you. Thank you, y'all.
It's not a credential. The problem with the Congressional Black Caucus is they think they can represent all black people because they think skin color is a credential. When no reality, their mission don't even align with the missions from back in the days. So they just overlook the plight of black Americans. So for being honest, Yvette Clark is Caribbean in descent. She's also in the Caribbean Congressional Caucus. Like it's like when you read their mission statement, you read ours, it's like everybody's for the best interest of themselves but us. When it comes to us, we just gotta siphon out what the fuck is supposed to be for us and just put it everywhere else. It's like if you really standing on the shoulders of Shirley Chisholm, it's like you would do for all. Like it's weird though. It's mad weird. It's like how don't you want to help these group of people because it doesn't help you, it doesn't benefit you directly. It's like, do you really fuck with those people? I don't like no funny shit. We need to remove like any like type of like misrepresentation in Congressional Black Caucus. Honestly, my nigga, like we don't need nobody to think that skin color is a credential. Skin color is not a credential. Skin color is not a credential. I don't give a fuck if you're doing community work. You can't do community work and then let that be your credential for your skin to be a credential. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like you can't pull that shit over my eyes, my nigga, because at the end of the day, the root is the root, my nigga. Because how the fuck Kamala Harris in the Congressional Black Caucus? That bitch is Indian and Caribbean descent. I'm like, cause skin color cannot be a credential, my nigga. Okay.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Congresswoman Yvette D. Clark, Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus for the 119th session of Congress and proud representative of New York's 9th Congressional District, located in Brooklyn, New York. We are joined here today by Maya Wiley of the Leadership Conference, Mark Marial of the National Urban League, Derek Johnson of the NAACP, Reverend Siobhan Arline Bradley of the National Council of Negro Women, Melanie Campbell of the National Coalition of Black Civic Participation, and Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant of the National Pan-Hellenic Council of Presidents. I want to thank all of the leadership for joining us today and for partnership with the Congressional Black Caucus. It is critical that we gather in this moment, given what we are up against. Across the country, our communities are voicing deep concerns about the threat posed by Donald Trump and his allies. Today, our democracy, economic opportunity, fundamental freedoms, and access to the ballot box are under attack. Over the past year, we have seen a concerted effort to roll back civil rights, undermine voting access, dismantle social programs, and concentrate power in the hands of the wealthy and well-connected at the expense of our communities. From weakening the Voting Rights Act and advancing voter suppression measures like the SAVE Act, to politicizing the courts and sowing fear and division through actions cause real and disproportionate harm to Black communities. Instead of working to lower the rising cost of living and create real pathways to economic security and advancement, the Trump administration has been working overtime to take our country in the wrong direction. Today, under Trump's historically unpopular leadership, Black unemployment has reached a staggering 8.3%, the highest since the height of the COVID pandemic, undoing progress made through intentional investment and inclusive economic growth. Attacks on the Affordable Care Act continue to threaten health care for millions in our communities, putting life-saving coverage and access to prescription medications at risk. And the ongoing assaults on the diversity of our nation, from the federal workforce and Black-led institutions to journalists, educators, and local leaders, represents a direct attack on the values of our democracy. Underlying it all is a clear truth. Donald Trump and Republicans understand that their path to maintaining the majority depends on weakening the collective voting strength of Black communities through racially gerrymandering maps ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Right now, they are relying on the Supreme Court in the Louisiana v. Calais case to clear the path for their plan to cement one-party control in Washington. But let me be clear, we will not waver. The Congressional Black Caucus will not be silent. We will not back down, nor will our partners in the Divine Nine and civil rights community. Together, we are working to legislate, organize, mobilize our communities against these efforts because too much is at stake for our communities. And having said that, it's my honor to bring to the podium at this time the leader of the Democratic Caucus, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
Good afternoon. Let me begin by thanking my good friend and the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, for continued leadership and partnership. Let me acknowledge all of the members of the Congressional Black Caucus, including, of course, our immediate past chairs, Congressman Stephen Horsford and Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. So thankful to be present with these distinguished civil rights leaders, leaders of the Divine Nine, as well as faith leaders and people from all throughout the country who are champions of the African-American community, champions of the principles that make this country at its best a country of liberty and justice for all. Donald Trump once asked Black America the question, what the hell do you have to lose? The answer is everything under his administration. We know that under the Trump administration, civil rights is under attack, voting rights is under attack, reproductive rights under attack, racial justice under attack, social justice under attack, economic justice under attack, Black entrepreneurship under attack. What the hell does Black America have to lose under Donald Trump? The answer clearly is everything. Black America is under attack. The United States of America has been under attack by the failed policies of a failed president and sycophants in the Republican Party who continue to act like nothing more than a reckless rubber stamp for Donald Trump's extreme agenda. Under the Trump administration, the Black unemployment rate is up, the Black homeownership rate is down, and healthcare is being ripped away from millions of Americans, disproportionately impacting Black and brown communities and lower income white communities throughout the nation. But we're here as members of the Congressional Black Caucus, civil rights leadership, faith leaders, leaders of the Divine Nine organizations, standing together to make clear that we're not going to step back, we're here to fight back and to make sure we protect the interests of Black America and all of the United States of America. And as John Lewis would often encourage us to do, we will continue to show up. We will continue to stand up. We will continue to speak up. We'll summon that character, that courage, that conviction of those upon whose shoulders in this Black History Month we proudly stand upon. And together we're going to end this national nightmare and continue this country's march toward a more perfect union. God bless you all. And now it's my honor to introduce my big sister in the Congress, a classmate of mine, past chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, an incredible champion for her communities and all communities. I'm Hakeem Jeffries, and I approve this message on behalf of Joyce Beatty.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I am Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, representing Ohio's 3rd Congressional District, and proud to be Chair Emerita of the Congressional Black Caucus. Today, we members of the Congressional Black Caucus stand united with our civil rights leaders, with our Divine Nine, business leaders, and faith leaders. We are here to honor our legacy and to move forward to fight for justice, equity, and equality for Black Americans and for all Americans. But just as Black history is American history, justice for Black Americans is justice for all Americans. For more than 55 years, the Congressional Black Caucus has fought to empower the more than 120 million Americans and 85 and 20 million Black Americans that we represent. Our mission has been steadfast and undeterred to uplift and empower the Black community. The task is more urgent now than ever before. We have navigated a struggling economy, attacks on our democracy, and one unprecedented crisis after another, and yet we still stand. Today, we stand against the calculated campaign led by Donald Trump and his allies to dismantle, to gut, to suffocate voting rights and civil rights and all of our other protections. We stand against their efforts to whitewash and purge our history from classrooms, from books, from institutions and public life. We sound the alarm as our democracy faces relentless, coordinated assaults from a Trump.
The Congressional Black Caucus is full of people who aren't foundational Black Americans. I could tell you a few of them right off the bat, and I'm not even a scholar. I know right off the bat, Stephen Horsford is. His people are from the Caribbean. Hakeem Jeffries, his father's African. Yvette Clarke, she's Caribbean. Bobby Scott's a Filipino. It goes on and on. So there's no wonder they don't have our best interests in the forefront. They thinking about their own people. They're not thinking about us. And it feels right to them to deny our progress, to get in the way and stall our things. So when we come to them like, oh, we need to have our reparations, they don't want to hear that. They want to have a study. They want to sit down and talk about it like we don't know what we've been through. Like they don't know our people is due reparations. They got to have a study. Like they don't know we built everything. You see what I'm saying? It undermines everything. And you understand why when you realize the people who's in charge. It becomes very apparent. So we played a very intelligent card, and I'm so proud of you guys. It was a very intelligent thing we did by just not participating. We're just not going to participate. That's a G move. And now they all just look at the news. You see them crashing out every day. They're not crashing out over stuff that pertains to us, though. They crashing out over other stuff. And we just sit back and looking at them. Why you guys aren't participating? We're not. We're not. We are not concerned. That don't hurt us. We are not concerned. And we're not coming to the rescue. We're not at all. All those parades they keep having, you don't see us out there, and those parades are ineffective. All those little marches that they having, ineffective. And we just sitting back looking, just watching. The same way they do when we go through our crash outs. They don't come and help us, bro. They've never helped us. And every time we get some things together that should move forward to our people, it gets sidetracked. Just like that Black Lives Matter movement. You thought, oh, because Black Lives Matter, you thought that all those funds you were giving those people was going to somehow trickle down to the Black community, and it didn't. They've done nothing for us. Absolutely nothing has come of that. Those people went and bought houses for themselves. They didn't do nothing for our community. Nothing. Same thing for the Congressional Black Caucus. Hundreds of them. They've done nothing for the Black community here in the United States. Oh, they've done stuff for the Caribbeans. They've done stuff for Africa. They've done nothing for us here. They've done nothing for us. We can attribute nothing to them. They don't help us at all. But because they put the word Black in their name, you will get a couple crumbs.
Look, y'all, I got some real fucking beef. And I shouldn't be at this point, but I am. And I think I'll probably be one of the very, very few Democrats or liberals to call these people out. But I'm going to do it. I'm ready. And I want to do this pause for a long time. The Congressional Black Caucus, the CBC, holds literally the most power on the Democratic congressional side. In Congress, Black folks run that motherfucker. What the fuck is going on right now? I literally went to the CBC's Twitter page, the Twitter X page. There was nothing about the Charlie Kirk situation. Do I expect them to say, oh, we should kumbaya? Absolutely not. But don't, you are missing the fucking moment. Like, what are you doing? Call out the bullshit. You can speak with you can have a big fucking brain, CBC. Like, I'm dead ass serious. I'm so sick of it. Like, we should not be in this fucking place. We are in this place partially because the CBC, yes, I will say, because the Congressional Black Caucus held up Joe Biden where he should not have been. I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. I'm really not, because we're past that point. In this point, we're done with that. But where the fuck are you? You have said nothing. I don't want you to come out and praise or say we should kumbaya, like I say. But you can say we should not be this. We should not be a country where we gun down people that we disagree with. That's unacceptable. Charlie Kirk should not have died in that way. That's point blank, period. But at the same time, you need to be able to say Charlie Kirk was a fucking racist. He was a bigot. He didn't care about Black people. He didn't care about gay people. He didn't care about women or anybody in between any of those things. All he cared about is white fucking supremacy. You can say that. You had that fucking power. But you know what? Y'all are failing right now. And I'm being so dead ass. And I'm probably the only fucking Black person on the fucking social media that's willing to call y'all out right now. Because it's a whole lot of tiptoeing. It's a whole lot of fucking tiptoeing. Listen to me. I listened to Jasmine Crockett's interview on The Breakfast Club today or recently. I support Jasmine Crockett. If I could vote for her, I would. She was keeping it a bug as much as she could, and I get her stance, and she's not wrong with what she was saying. But the time is now. The time is now where people like Jasmine Crockett, Rep. Jasmine Crockett from Texas, needs to call out leadership. And that's not just Hakeem Jeffries who needs to go. He needs to be booted the fuck out. Kick that motherfucker out. He is not meeting the fucking moment. Hakeem, representative from New York City, Hakeem Jeffries needs to go. Bye. And Jasmine Crockett needs to be the first one to say it. The CBC ain't gonna like it. They gonna hate her for it. But you know what? Somebody has to fucking do it. When are you going to meet the fucking moment, people? It makes no fucking sense. I'm going to end this at 5 minutes because I don't want to take a lot of y'all time. But we are not in the George Bush days. We ain't in the Reagan days, of course. We not in the Obama days. We are in Trump. We are in a world where bigotry and racism has been accepted, has been allowed, has been championed. If you want to be on the right side of history, do what you do. But we gotta call out these motherfuckers. And the point in this is the CBC. They need to be called out. From the top, from the leadership to the bottom. Like, it's like, where the fuck are you? As a Black gay man in America, living in the Midwest, who has experienced racism and bigotry in all types of forms, where the fuck are you? I do not feel represented right now. You could talk a good game, but where the fuck are you? Y'all need to be out every fucking day talking about how much this motherfucker is a racist, how these people, how much MAGA is the modern day Confederacy. Where the fuck are y'all? Y'all leaving it up to these white consultants. Y'all leaving it up to fucking these lobbyists, aka AIPAC. Huh. I'm sick of it. Kick Hakeem Jeffries out. The president or chairperson of the CBC, you can go. We are done. The American people, the true American people, are fucking done with y'all shit. Like, let's go. Like, we are so fucking done. Done. And let me say this last thing. If you want to win in 2028, the presidential, listen to what the fuck I said. Because if you don't, you're going to lose again. You're going to lose again. Just like you lost in 2024. You're going to lose. As a Kamala Harris supporter, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Bet.
Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down.
The reason why Black Americans do not have reparations is because you have an enemy from within that is giving all of your money to Israel. They're supporting Israel over getting you reparations. Let's read this. Yet to this day, the Congressional Black Caucus, the long-standing core of lawmakers dedicated to safeguarding civil rights and known as the conscience of Congress, has not issued a formal declaration condemning Israel. It hasn't even produced a statement calling for a ceasefire. The CBC's silence isn't accidental. More than half of its 61 members have been endorsed or funded by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, the powerful U.S. lobbying arm of Israel's agenda. And in the year 2023 through 2024 election cycle alone, AIPAC endorsed 26 of the caucus's members, raising $4.6 million for them and another $3.5 million for Black Democratic candidates. Your problem isn't the fucking white supremacy alone. Your problem is motherfuckers in high places looking like you, selling you out for fucking pennies on the dollar. 4.6 million and $3.5 million is pennies on the dollar. These motherfuckers owe you $20 trillion. Do you hear me? $20 trillion is what this entire planet has stolen from you, freedmen. Solan, what are you doing? Black man, Hebrew, I don't give a fuck what you call yourself. If you got bones here from chattel slavery, you have been sold out by those motherfucking lawmakers called the Black Caucus. You don't have reparations because these motherfuckers are draining you. They're draining you. They're burning the check on both ends and making sure you don't know about it. And they'll tell you some bullshit about we shall overcome and let's have a junction function. What's your motherfucking function meeting to pacify you? These motherfuckers are stealing from you. You don't have reparations because they're stealing it from you. Wake up.
We are in day 19 of Black History Month, right? Have y'all noticed that the Congressional Black Caucus, all they talk about is defending the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, the immigrants. We are in Black History Month. And what is the Congressional Black Caucus doing for us Black Americans? Have they put forth a bill, an anti-Black hate crime bill? Have they put any reparations bill? What have they done for us Black Americans? And a lot of them Congressional Black Caucus members, they not even foundational. A lot of them is immigrants themselves, Haitians, Jamaicans, yada, yada, yada. So I think we need to do away with the Congressional Black Caucus.
People have to have a Black agenda. If Black people don't have a Black agenda, then what's the point? He basically said everybody else has an agenda. Every business has an agenda, and every other demographic has an agenda exclusively for them, for you and yours. And I'll tell you, I've been in, I haven't worked on the Hill, but I've been in and around the Hill, and I've, chopped it up with people on the Hill and spent some time with people on the Hill. Yeah, Black people on the Hill. And I honestly say this, man. There's a couple good ones, but they don't really stay good. But most of them have zero interest in politically lobbying for the interests of their Black constituents. That is not a thing. It is a political non-starter to lobby for anything specifically for Black people. That's why if you've ever spoken to one of these guys or one of these women that work on the Hill or affiliated with the Hill or the DNC or the Democratic Party, you find that their agendas are basically synonymous with the Democratic agenda. There is no Black agenda for these people. And if you try to tell them like, hey, we need something exclusively for Black people, I mean, that's the most important political move that we can make. They'll try to talk you out of it. I'm dead ass. And I'm not saying that these are bad people. I'm just saying that this is the way that they've been trained to indoctrinate the Black voting population into political activity. They have been indoctrinated to only see engaging with the Black community with a Democratic agenda. And a Democratic agenda is an agenda that fights for literally everyone else except for your Black ass. That's just the way it goes. That's the long and short of it. It is what it is. The only time we can be actually politically effective in this landscape is at a very local level, that's honestly where you can have the most power. But yeah, I'll say it again. None of these Black people that you see on TV, on social media, that you might know personally, on the Hill, affiliated with the Hill, affiliated with the DNC, working with DNC adjacent organizations or initiatives, none of them have a substantive interest in moving the needle exclusively for Black people. That is a fact. It's not a matter of opinion.
Is the Black Congressional Caucus even needed for today? In my humble opinion, I would have to say absolutely not. I don't see the need for a Black caucus. You see, you don't represent all Black people. Let's start there. You only represent those folks that aligns with your ideology and your values. So if I vote Republican, you don't represent me. You see, you don't represent me. You only represent those who align with your values. Just like Nicki Minaj, you guys turned totally against her. Even Donald Trump, the president, when he was a Democrat, you was all with him. As soon as he ran for president, you guys turned on him as a dime. And we got one of the greatest presidents in American history. But as far as the Black Caucus is concerned, you're not even needed. You represent wokeness. You represent LGBTQ. You represent illegal immigration. Everything that I have values for strongly, you don't represent that, folks. Why don't you just eliminate that name Black and change the name of the Black Caucus to the Woke Caucus? You talk about racism all the time. And many of you got white husbands and white wives. You want the borders to just be open to everyone, but you got your homes well protected so no one break in. But you want our borders to be open. Think about it. Amazing, isn't it? The hypocrisy. You claim and you speak about racism all the time, but you're the very one that's racist in your ideology. If you really truly want racism to end, let's start by yourself first. Acknowledge your own actions that they can be very racist, because if a white person said, we want a white caucus, you will raise Cain all day and all night. You'll probably be even out there protesting, but you want to remain the Black Caucus and you don't represent all Blacks. What hypocrisy. You folks are some of the biggest goddamn hypocrites I done seen. You rub the paint off the church walls and you can't find 1 ounce of forgiveness in your own body. You can't forgive nobody. You want to keep reminding people of the past, a past that you weren't even a part of. You had nothing to do with slavery. You was not enslaved. You personally was not enslaved. And you would swear you was the person that was enslaved. You don't want to let go of it. If you don't want to let go of the past, how can you move forward? If you can't forgive people of the past, how can you move forward? Huh? Think about it. America's great. You guys trying to help ruin it. You're aligning yourself with all these people that hate America. You don't represent me, and you don't represent many other Blacks. You need to change yourself, because the Democratic Party is no longer the Democratic Party of old. It belongs to the extreme left and the progressives. You see the actions that they're taking? I don't hear you guys crying out about that. The hypocrisy of you people is disgusting.
Let's get this correct. Okay, I need everybody who is melanated and indigenous to the lands of America. Only. When did the Black Caucus become immigrant only? Don't get me wrong, you got a couple of old immigrants. No, not old immigrants. You have a couple of old melanated people who are indigenous to this land of America trying to represent us. But at the same time, when you mix them with the immigrants overpower. So that's how bills is getting passed for their people. Now, I done went on a Black Caucus website today. They got a summit coming up. And it's kind of funny how the summit says something about African Americans. Then it said Black communities. Like, what the fuck is that? So either they African Americans or Black communities. I mean, you can't be both at the same time, right?
So when you speak of African American, you're speaking from Africa. You're speaking for them. You're not speaking for us. The purpose to call us African Americans is for them to be able to come over here, integrate with us, and we still get shit and they get everything. Y'all have immigrants in your House of Representatives. Y'all have immigrants inside of everything. And this is why shit is getting passed and you are getting overlooked because you keep on voting for Democrats and you keep on voting people in. Nobody is for you. Stop voting at this point. We need stuff for us and us only. We can't do what they do. They come over here, get refugee money. They come over here as Aslam. They get in apartments. This is true. I just spoke. We just had a whole thing with a person who was literally a caseworker. Okay. I'm not going to say her name and I'm not going to say where she's from. On panel yesterday, speaking that they do get everything and grants and loans to go to school, which they talk about us on EBT, but you motherfuckers getting everything. Because your hoes come over here as refugees because the only reason why they're able to do it is because the couple of people who are indigenous to the lands signed their fucking signatures. You don't see no Native Americans sign up for anything. You want to know why? Because they're part of them. They're part of the government. They're immigrants. Until y'all delineate yourself from saying I'm African American, we are going to stay in this repeated ass cycle. And newsflash, spitting in the tube ain't gonna tell you over there. United States people who had slaves already tried to sue Britain. And Britain said no. They threw that case out because they know you're not African. We already been here, done this. Time to wake the fuck up.
All right, y'all. You know, the Congressional Black Caucus really, why don't y'all just dismantle? Because you don't really represent anybody in the community. But every time we do see you, it's always about immigration. You know, that's the only time we do see you if it's something for immigrants. But if it's anything for us, it's non-existent. They won't speak on it. They won't recognize it. They say and do absolutely nothing. I don't even see them as representation, but I know many in the community don't. You know, if anything, you know, a lot of people will say, get rid of them, vote them all out. But in all reality, I don't see that um you know, voting for them. I just think it is just the organization is just too corrupt. You're not going to be able to do with you know, anything, and voting all of them out, that takes time. That is not something you can do overnight. But yeah, you know, technically, you know, we don't have representation. You know, we got a group that calls themselves Congressional Black Caucus, but they don't deal with any issues the community is concerned about. But for immigrants, oh, yeah, they'll burn your ear off about that. They got nothing but time to talk about immigration. So, you immigrants, y'all can have them. And I think it's funny anyway. Y'all can't vote for these people. Many of these undocumented people, they can't even vote. But I think, again, the plan was to flood the zone with a bunch of immigrants and then kind of phase us out and make us irrelevant. And they can't really do it because every time you get a Republican in office, they're going to reverse all this immigration stuff they got in place. And that's what happened with having Donald Trump in. Donald Trump ain't doing none of that mess that Joe Biden was doing, you know? So everything you tried to do, he's pretty much undoing it. So, I mean, so how do you really pull it off if every so many years you got a Republican that will come in and they won't go along with this immigration stuff? So, hey, it is what it is. But I don't trust the Congressional Black Caucus and whatever they do. Oh, well, let them do it. But I don't trust them, and I don't see them as representation for no one but immigrants. You know, every time you do see them on TV, it's always something about immigration. It's never anything that we want to hear about. It's never anything like that. Mhm. Yeah. Yep. So, y'all, this is my final live today. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it deeply. Let's see here. Curly Locks, thank you so much for the super chat. Shalom, y'all, at Miss Lisa. Thanks for your work. Thank you. Thank you also for your support from my channel. I deeply appreciate it. So, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And if you're in one of these areas where it's snowing, stay safe. And I will see you all tomorrow on all different topics. Shalom, family.